Hello again, my lovely listeners. It is I, Conway Fitzgerald. Welcome back for another edition of The Modern Immortals. I'm very excited to share this latest episode, episode 2, The Billionaire, with all of you. Before I do, I just wanted to remind all of you how important it is for us YouTubers to have the likes and the comments. It really does help a lot, so please be sure to do that and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free. Now, before I start the show, which will have no commercial interruption throughout, I would just like to ask everyone for one other special thing. I have a fantastic cast of a troupe of voice actors who donate their brilliant skills and time to make this free for all of you. And I know I sound like an old man saying this, but back in the day, I remember when I was a kid, it was always the coolest thing to be able to find the band first, the new band that nobody had ever heard of, and then you'd share it with your friends, and then you were just the coolest kid on the block. So I would say, hey, if you really dig seeing original full cast audio drama, why not share it with your friends on your favorite social media? Say, hey, check this out. This is pretty cool. So if you do that, I would really appreciate it, as would all of my fantastic actors. As we're trying to expand this space, we're trying to get more viewership to the audio drama world. So if you appreciate having free audio drama, then please do all the social clicks. All right, now on with the show.
Hey Bob, how you feeling? Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, we're gonna introduce him now. Are we all set?
Yes, he's ready. And please, remember, it's Bob, not Robert, okay?
Bob. Got it. All right, Tech Talk 25. How we feeling out there? So much innovation, so little time, am I right? Speaking of innovation, I now have a very special guest to introduce to our main stage. From Hydrara Software Technologies, here to discuss the bandwidth compression algorithm of the future, the founder and CEO himself. Give it up for Mr. Robert Lee.
Thanks, everybody. And, it's Bob. See, folks are pumped up for what's happening, I see. Excuse me. The possibilities that are emerging within this layer of innovation in commerce, information technology, and telecommunications. The power of this software, after the rollout, it's going to change the way the international consumers think of what a marketplace is. Whirling Dervish is our new trans-platform compression application for computer, phone, and what will be the new form of streaming home entertainment.
Daddy, you're home.
Hello, sunshine.
So, how did it go?
It went well, except for this damn lingering cough. But I made it through. The Q&A part was a little rough because of the proprietary release issues.
Oh, let me get you another lozenge.
Daddy, after dinner, I wanted to tell you about my first band concert. Oh my God, I was so nervous. Yeah, there, that's the only mistake I made. That note there, but otherwise...
The whole thing was fabulous, Jenny. Really, I couldn't be more proud of you. And the dinner was great too, babe.
Well, I wasn't overcoming any stage fright, like our brave daughter.
I can't wait until the next one.
Oh, my.
Bob, there's no easy way to say this. It's lung cancer.
Lung cancer? But I don't even smoke. How could I?
Any number of things can cause a cellular mutation. Emphysema is not limited to cigarette smokers. Pollution, respiratory infections, any number of things can trigger it.
Well, what do we do? How do I beat this, Andy?
Bob, it has already progressed into your limbic system. This is what's called a secondary or metastatic cancer. It has spread and created several malignant tumors in tough-to-treat areas. Invasion of small cell lung cancer into the limbic system from leptomeningeal metastasis. It's a difficult thing to combat, especially when it's this far along.
So, I don't understand. What does that mean?
It means this is terminal, Bob. We can treat it. Aggressive chemo and radiation may extend your life by a few months or maybe even a year.
Maybe a year? This can't be. There's so much I need to do.
I'm referring you to the very best cancer clinic in the nation. They are specialists who may be able to offer you a better prognosis than mine. But as your doctor and as your friend, Bob, I can only tell you the truth.
So, that's what happened. That's what the cough was.
I knew it. I should have insisted you go see Andy as soon as you got so tired. You were so exhausted all of the time. I should have insisted. You should have taken that time off. You're working yourself to death, Bob, I said. Now.
Daddy, this can't be real. You can't die. You can't die.
Dreams, hopes, the innovations of a brilliant mind, burning like a distant, shining star, sharing its breathtaking light through the endless void of space. Such was the life of Bob Lee, a life cut short, like so many others, by the curse of terminal illness. Yet, what if that mind was offered a way to beat the scourge of cancer, with a pathway to renewed health and a second chance to shine again? The Modern Immortals by Conway Fitzgerald. Starring Michael Weppler, Karen Corrado, Sarah Crawford, Rich Greene, J.V. Torres, Steve Katz, Sally Swift, Jeff Tullen, Carson Thayer, Ludwig Puchmeier, Rhiannon McAfee, Steve Fisher, Paul Arbisi, Nikki Brown, Fiona Thrale, Conway Fitzgerald, and introducing Ruby Weppler.
So, yeah, the best minds in the field are fairly certain. I've only got about 6 months to live, tops.
Well, what does this mean for the company? I mean, this is a tragedy for you, for your family. I understand how insensitive I sound asking this, but how does Hydraulic proceed with the rollout without you?
The software is all written and has been tested thoroughly. We've got the best coders in the business. They'll be able to patch and update as needed. Don't worry about that. You'll just have to find a new face to sell it, I guess.
But Bob, you are Hydraulic. This changes everything.
Indeed, everything had changed, seemingly overnight. Within weeks, Hydraulic's stock had fallen over 30% on the announcement of their founder's terminal condition. Within a month, he was already going over his last will and testament with his team of lawyers and the proposed list of beneficiaries.
And the remainder of those shares will be divided among your living beneficiaries, that is, your 4 children, equally.
Equally? I'm not sure I understand. I mean, Dad, hasn't there been any consideration for your grandchildren? That's a lot of college to pay for. But Junior is still a child, and you're giving all of the real estate to Donna? What about Mom?
How dare you? For Christ's sake, Agatha, your father just provided each of you with over $50 million. How is that not enough?
Okay, so then I take it you're fine with letting us have the Aspen house. None of you even ski.
Miss, I understand there will be disagreements about particulars, which we can certainly all negotiate later, but can we please just get through the reading of the will as it stands? Your father asked for this chance to share it with all of you prior to signing it to avoid any legal problems among you after he is gone.
There's plenty enough to go around, I'm sure of that. I can't see any of you or my grandchildren having any want of money again after I'm gone.
Yet, want of money seemed to be the only remaining concern of his first wife and her children. They promised to sue the estate and block the enormous endowments that Bob had created for education grants and scientific research. They contested his proposed allotments of cash inheritances he had provided to each of them. Bob could no longer speak, only watch sadly as those he loved and created squabbled over the shattered pieces of his legacy. When he got back home, the last thing he ever wanted to do was discuss money with anyone else.
Bob, enough. Leave it. Please. No more calls today.
It says it's from England. I'm curious who this could be. Yes, hello?
Good evening, Mr. Lee. Or I suppose it is still in the afternoon there in the States. My name is Dr. Malcolm Fillmore. I'm phoning you from the Waddington Institute in the United Kingdom. I was given this number by your friend and primary care physician, Dr. Andrew Reynolds.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dr. Fillmore, but today has been a rather crappy day here, as we say in the States. If you're looking for donations or foundation grants, please contact my attorneys, okay?
I apologize for the intrusion, Mr. Lee, but to be clear, I am not making this call looking for a handout. Quite the contrary. I was phoning to make a rather astounding offer of potential benefit to you, sir. Dr. Reynolds mentioned the advanced stage of the multi-tumorous metastatic cancer you are fighting. And because he was aware of the work we do here at Waddington in the field of genetic research, he suggested that I reach out to you. That is why I'm calling, Mr. Lee. Perhaps we here at the Waddington Institute might be able to offer you a second opinion.
I don't know how much Dr. Reynolds explained to you and when, Doctor, but my case has already been deemed terminal by the best cancer doctors in the country.
I am aware of this, Mr. Lee. Also, the lack of time we might have to make any possible impact on the outcome of the proposed treatment. That is why time is certainly of the essence.
Bob Lee was informed that the Waddington Institute might just have a means to save his life, so they had his ear. He boarded a flight on his private jet to Cambridge City Airport the following day. After completing the preliminary tests, the Waddington Institute made Bob Lee an offer he couldn't refuse: to target him 6 years younger, before the onset of the cancer and its spread. This would not only remove the life-threatening affliction from his body, but also allow them foreknowledge of where the mutation might occur and how to monitor him closely to prevent its deadly spread throughout his body. Bob and his team of lawyers, physicians, and counselors were all in agreement that it was worth a try. But not everyone was agreed that Bob was a suitable test subject.
Albrecht, what a pleasant surprise. What's the latest on our applicants?
Malcolm, it's Bob Lee. I have significant concerns.
What kind of concerns?
Where do I begin? His labs, they are not good. In fact, they are loaded with mutations.
We were all aware that this test subject was a high-risk candidate. He's a terminal cancer patient. We've already received a full indemnity agreement from the Hydrera legal team, as well as a formal memorandum of understanding on the dangers that existing cancer can introduce to the lab results.
This is a very high-visibility test subject. For God's sake, Malcolm, it's Bob Lee, the face of Hydrera. I think we should reject him.
We have an opportunity to save the man's life when every other physician the world over has pronounced him dead already. This is the perfect opportunity to demonstrate how remarkable this treatment can be for those with no other hope.
He has high concentrations of PSEN1 and 2, as well as abnormal growth of amyloid beta peptides.
In the case of Mr. Lee, we are only introducing a 6-year genetic regression. I thought we all agreed this was the least risky of the candidates from that standpoint alone. Whether or not he suffers dementia in his later years does not concern us, Albrecht. Physical results, wellness now, does.
Well, that's just it. My second concern are my latest test results with White 17. That test rodent was proven to have the clearest memory of the maze path to reach the cheese reward on the other end. He had become rote in his ability to navigate the maze within 20 seconds. After his regression last month, he has become progressively slower in his path to the reward. And now, this morning, White 17 stopped attempting to traverse the maze entirely. He simply turns in circles at the entrance to the maze, much like our chimps did outside their enclosures. I think we might have a problem.
Albrecht, that is the point of these human test trials. To find out what sort of cognitive effects might be encountered. Both positive as well as negative. Every candidate has been advised of this, and of your concerns as it relates to the restructure within the temporal lobe.
I think we should pause the study until I have better results.
Time is not something Bob Lee has on his side. Additionally, the NIHR has made it abundantly clear that we are facing a rapidly closing window here as well, Albrecht. Such a delay might doom the project and jeopardize our funding. We have proven the efficacy of the treatment on the bodies of all the animal test subjects, with very little misoccurrence. Our costly investigation isolating the cause of misoccurrences has been very thorough. We are all aware of the dangers, as are all of our human volunteers and their lawyers. We have one shot at this, Albrecht. We either take it now, or we find ourselves buried under the bureaucratic mud that will certainly kill this initiative and all of our hard work. We have chosen our test subjects. We will proceed. Is there anything else, Dr. Van der Vloes?
No. I just felt that.
Then that will be all, Doctor. Please return to your lab and prepare for the initiation of the procedure.
The procedure was initiated on schedule, simultaneously among the 12 first human test subjects. Among them was Bob Lee. 6 months later, after the completion of his treatment, his cancer was eradicated completely from his body, without the use of chemicals or radiation. Bob Lee became the first life saved by way of mitoDNA cellular reparation, known commonly as MDCR or mid-Cur thereafter. Not only had a fountain of youth now been uncovered, this treatment also provided humankind, finally, with a cure for any cancer. A little over 6 months later, the Whirling Dervish software upgrade for Hydrera digital media products was released to the world, to much excitement and fanfare, but not nearly as much as the return to the stage of Hydrera's founder, Bob Lee.
Hey, Team Hydrera! It gives me such great pleasure to welcome back to our stage our founder, our visionary leader, and our friend, Mr. Bob Lee.
Wow. Thank you. I'm touched, really. Whew. Wow, I really couldn't have anticipated how much I miss this group. How much I miss the friendship and camaraderie, the spirit of innovation, and just the incredible team you all are. Thank you. It's good to be back. Thank you. You know, a little over 7 months ago, I learned that I had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. I know there was a lot of fear. Believe me, I was scared too. But I'm here to tell you that a new innovation in medicine has saved my life. Today, I am cancer-free. I was very fortunate to be among the very first human beings to be blessed by this scientific miracle. And we at Hydrera have all agreed to commit an annual endowment to the Waddington Institute. In your names, the people of Hydrera, in the amount of $1 billion. So that disadvantaged people and further study can be performed to see this amazing genetic medicine further. Now, speaking of furthering people through technology, say hello to my little friend, Whirling Dervish. This new software will revolutionize entertainment and commerce, integrating our existing platforms and integrating our existing platforms with our latest. Gosh, help me out here, Todd. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Todd Clapes, our CTO.
Hey, Bob, are you okay?
Yeah, just a little emotional, I guess. Folks, I'm gonna let Todd finish off this expo. I am truly moved by the love in this room. Really? Thank you.
Where do I pick up from there? Integrating our existing platforms with our latest software hardware.
There was plenty of love in the room, but words were finding themselves harder for Bob Lee to find to describe his own new technology. Concepts of blockchain interface and tandem digital compression algorithms had suddenly become difficult for Bob to explain. So, he allowed the architect of the platform to do it for him, though not with nearly as much impact. Meanwhile, in Cincinnati, the two Washington Post reporters were parked outside of the Lewis home in North Fairmont, one of the poorest neighborhoods in Cincinnati.
That's the house? Are you sure? Can't imagine an NFL player living in a beat-up duplex like that.
That's the last known address I got from the research department. That's Knox. And this is Beekman's, so yeah, that's the place.
Just then, a large black Escalade with tinted windows passed them and entered the driveway of the Lewis home.
Who is this? Oh, wait, someone's coming out. That's him. That's RJ. Jeez. Doesn't look very happy.
RJ wasn't happy at all, having just argued with his wife over his newfound success with his new young body. RJ climbed into the back of the Escalade with a single gym bag and slammed shut the door. The car then reversed out and sped away.
Must have been a team pickup. I think they're off to Dallas for next week's game.
They don't even give them a day off?
I think they do, but something tells me he opted for the early flight. Well, we're here. Do you want to do this?
Yeah. Whew. Let's do it.
That's the bell. Hello, Mrs. Lewis?
Yes?
Hi, I'm Michael Donofrio from the Washington Post. This is...
RJ isn't home. And why are you coming here for an interview?
Mrs. Lewis? Actually, we came to see you.
Why? Oh. You said you're from the Washington Post. Does RJ know about this?
I asked him a question at the post-game press conference. I asked how his family, how you, were taking this, transformation. He didn't answer me. Do you have any comment?
No, I don't.
Mrs. Lewis, can we leave a card in the event you find you have any feelings you'd like to share? We'd very much like to hear your story.
Cammy Lewis closed her eyes while Michael spoke, her back flush against the door, her arms extended outward. She was unsure what may come of this most unexpected meeting, yet she feared losing perhaps the only opportunity she'd have to share her story and reclaim the life she once had. For better or worse. Why don't you come in?
So apart from the physical transformation, have you experienced anything that might give you pause as it relates to his mental health? That's quite a thing, to be 55 and suddenly 21 again, scoring touchdowns in the NFL.
Last week, we went out to eat to celebrate his new contract. During the meal, it seemed like he was struggling to remember the names of some of our very close family friends. Talking about our son Danny was particularly difficult. Like there was a vacancy there in his heart. I've never felt that in him. Later, he drove us home. When we were on the highway east, I asked him where we were going. He simply smiled and then took us to the house we purchased back in 1989, right after he first signed with the Bangles. I asked him why we came there, back to Terrace Park, and he looked very confused. He thought that was our home. I asked him if he had repurchased this house with his new contract, and he looked at me almost like he didn't know who I was, and that really scared me.
How does Danny feel? Does he share any of your concerns?
RJ hasn't really had a relationship with his son for many years. When Danny came out at age 15, it's been hard for him to accept it. Now he acts like he doesn't have to. Almost like Danny never was here to begin with.
So you feel there are significant changes in his feelings, a distance towards the two of you.
When he first came back from England, his memories were crystal clear. He even told me he was remembering things, details of our lives together, things he had forgotten. I thought that meant he was getting over all of this trauma. The bankruptcy, losing the house, his career, and then his body. Now, I'm starting to think he's just forgetting the life he used to have completely. Like it's drifting away. He's redoing his life and has forgotten the one we had.
Mrs. Lewis? How is it that RJ came to know about this treatment? About Waddington?
It was his PCP, Dr. Ari Frank. He said he knew one of the head researchers, Dr. Vanderfloos, I think was his name.
Dr. Frank?
Yes.
Thank you for taking my call. My name is Michael Donofrio. I'm with the Washington Post. Camille Lewis, wife of RJ, tells me that it was you that referred him to the Waddington Institute for this miracle treatment.
Yeah, I did. Washington Post. Wow. You gonna make me famous? Or infamous?
Our intention is to do neither, sir. We're doing a story on what's being called the Fountain of Youth. Do you have an opinion on the science?
Not sure how much I can tell you, but I will say yes. I think the preliminary results are pretty astounding. RJ, the pain, the state he was in before and now, it's truly miraculous.
She mentioned your contact at Waddington.
Oh, yes, Dr. Albrecht Vanderfloos. He's a brilliant man. What we might call in Yiddish, a true mensch. You should interview him. I really don't know very much about the actual science. Not much more than you all probably already know. He's probably the best person to talk to.
This is Waddington Research. How shall I direct your call?
Oh, hello? I'm trying to reach Dr. Albrecht Vandervloes.
What is this regarding, Miss...
Peterson. Cassidy Peterson. I'm with the Washington Post.
Oh, press calls should be directed to our media office. Do you have that number?
Yes, I do. I was given this number and told it was the best way to reach Dr. Vanderfloos by Dr. Ari Frank in Cincinnati, Ohio. He was R.J. Lewis's primary care physician. R.J. was among the first human trials that...
Hold the line, please. Miss Peterson? I'm connecting you now.
Thank you. Is...
Yes, hello. To whom am I speaking?
Oh, hi. My name is Cassidy Peterson, and I'm with the Washington Post. Is this Dr. Vanderfloos?
Dr. Vanderfloos is quite busy at the moment. I am Dr. Malcolm Fillmore. I am the director of the research department. Might I ask why it is you members of the press have not reached out to our media department? Albrecht has just concluded an exhaustive series of interviews and international press conferences. In fact, he's just returned from Washington, D.C. this week. Weren't you writers at the Washington Post made aware of this?
Yes, we had people there, but I was actually reaching out to Dr. Vanderfloos to discuss specifically the progress of R.J. Lewis and the NFL.
Miss Peterson, is it? You'll have to forgive me. We here at the Waddington Institute must take great care with regards to the privacy of our volunteers and employees. If you would like to schedule an interview with members of our staff, I must insist you do so through the proper channels. This number you have called is restricted to physicians and lab technicians.
I apologize. I was told by Dr. Frank that...
Again, you'll have to reach out to our media affairs department, Miss Peterson.
But is Dr. Vanderfloos available for comment? We'd just like to ask a few questions.
I'm sorry. I cannot help you. Goodbye.